look around the room as well, I think we all are, and I certainly am encouraged by the numerous young faces in attendance tonight, and I want to thank them. Please give them a nice round of applause for all the young. We have such a strong participation from our young leadership associates, members of the third generation who are committed to the mission of Holocaust remembrance. It's my pleasure to welcome one of those. Please welcome to the podium one of Young Leadership Associates' dedicated board members for a few words. Please welcome Daniela Pomerantz. Daniela, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela Pomerantz. I'm here tonight representing the Young Leadership Associates of Yad Vashem to keep Holocaust education and awareness present in future generations. As a grandchild of 2 Holocaust survivors, I would like to acknowledge my grandparents, Jack and Sally Pomerantz. My grandfather survived fighting in the Parchev forests in Poland with the partisans, while my grandmother was smuggled into Siberia and hidden throughout the war. You are one of the founding families, along with other survivors, of Friends of Israel Defense Forces in America, and have rebuilt a life full of generations that keeps growing. Kanahara. It is a privilege to try and follow in your footsteps in serving our people. The stories of our family will remain heard for generations to come. It is my pleasure to introduce Rabbi Jacob J. Schachter, University Professor of Jewish History and Jewish Thought and Senior Scholar at the Center for Jewish Future at Yeshiva University. I would also like to warmly welcome Rabbi Schachter's wife, Yocheved, and mother, Penina, who have joined us here tonight. While Rabbi Schachter is a noted scholar, author, thought leader, and lecturer in his own right, he is with us tonight to reflect on the legacy of his late father, Rabbi Herschel Schachter, Zichrona Livracha. Rabbi Herschel Schachter was a U.S. Army chaplain during World War II and liberator of Buchenwald. His first contribution to the survivors he found there was that he was the only soldier in his unit who spoke Yiddish, enabling him to communicate directly with the survivors in Buchenwald on a personal level. Among the first things he told them was that they were now free people. Please join me in welcoming Rabbi Jacob J. Schachter.
Thank you, Daniela. Guests of honor, Rose and Phil Friedman, men and women of the dais, leadership of Yad Vashem, the staff of Yad Vashem, ladies and gentlemen. Quote, when I stand before you here, judges of Israel, to lead the prosecution of Adolf Eichmann, I am not standing alone. With me are 6 million accusers, but they cannot rise to their feet and point an accusing finger towards him who sits in the dock and cry, I accuse. For their ashes are piled up on the hills of Auschwitz and the fields of Treblinka and strewn in the forests of Poland. Their graves are scattered throughout the length and breadth of Europe. Their blood cries out, but their voice is not heard. And therefore I will be their spokesman, and in their name I will unfold this awesome indictment. end quote. So began the opening speech of the Honorable Gideon Hausner, Attorney General of the State of Israel and lead prosecutor in the case of Israel versus Adolf Eichmann on April 17th, 1961 in Jerusalem. And so I begin my remarks tonight, some 55 years later, at this very special gathering under the auspices of Yad Vashem on the blessed shores of this great country, the United States of America. We gather this evening to speak for them, to give honor and dignity to those who were killed, to those who cannot rise to their feet, to those whose voices cannot be heard. After all, this is all we can now do for them, to remember them, who they were, what they were like, their eyes and their smiles, their hugs and their dreams, their suffering and their pain. And we also gather here tonight to give honor and dignity to the survivors, to so many of you who are gathered here this evening. I am in awe, in absolute awe, of you who experienced the Holocaust and survived, witnesses to the utter depravity of humanity at its very worst, and examples of the strength and the fortitude and the hope and the greatness of humanity at its very best. Exposed as you were to the most malignant radiation of human cruelty, you emerged from your experiences not with fantasies of revenge, but with fantasies of respectability and decency. You responded to the total assault of death by an extraordinary outpouring of life. And so in memory of the Kedoshim, of those who were killed, and in honor of so many of you gathered here this evening, the survivors and the members of your families, we gather tonight to pronounce our awesome obligation 70 years later. Zachor, gedenkt, remember.